Hey guys, I'm Captain Foley. Welcome back to Trekyards.
And I'm Connor Coggins, and we're talking not about the Discovery, but
Or the Shinzo.
look at the models.
They're fantastic.
Because we have them both now, so we thought we'd like...
Yes.
See, there's a hint here, guys. Yes, the recent Destination Germany convention thingy-bob had an Eaglemoss booth, and they had some physical miniatures there to show, as well as a big, amazing poster that they either forgot, as Ben said, or just, haha, look at what we've got of all the different Discovery ships, and one ship in particular. But why is that doubly important, Stuart?
Hold on a second. Before we get into that, these things are fantastic. And you know why? Because it's Eaglemoss. But anyway,
We're flying in front of the camera for 3 years now, so you've seen them for 3 years.
Trekyards is now working with Eaglemoss. There is a link in the description below. If you guys click it and go there, you can get 10% off any order of $60 or more. And there's a code. Just type in Trekyards and you get a discount. So if you guys want to check it out, please do so. It'll help us out. And, Trekyards and Eaglemoss, that's a match made in heaven, guys. But anyway, yes, important. Poster, a ship. There's a reveal that, well, not really a reveal, we've already seen it.
Pretty good review, I think so.
Well, we've already seen it. We know it exists, so it's not like...
Well.
But anyway, there's a ship on there that we want to talk about, and that would be...
Let's do the next picture. The close-up, boom, boom, boom. The USS Enterprise 1701, probably Constitution class, if they still stick with that. But we've now got flat orthographic views which show the details, the percentages, the proportions, and importantly, like we've been clamoring for, the top. And so now this is our first reaction of this ship, of this type.
I love it. I mean, it's not the original Enterprise, but that's cool. It's a good reimagining. It's proportioned correctly, guys. It's not, the nacelles aren't too close together like some other Enterprises that I've discussed in the past. The proportions look good to me. Might be a little squat, but it looks mean. So
yeah, we'll do a full comparison with the other Enterprise, the main Enterprise, the 50-year-old Enterprise. But this is like our first reaction, a sort of a quicker video, because now we've got it in proper perspective. And when we saw the other, the final 10 seconds of that episode, it was like, whoa, and we got a really good sense of it. But this gives us a real sit down, think about it, analyze it sort of view. And obviously the top view, which is interesting. I appreciate that they've kept the cage black stripes. Again, it's what should be there, because the cage Enterprise we've seen in Star Trek canon. So we know what that looks like. This is not what that looks like. So they're obviously visually rebooting the Enterprise. Either it's a retcon, this is always what the Enterprise looked like, or this is a pre-refit or refit version that gets refitted back into the TOS Connie, but that's probably quite a stretch. Or it's a legality thing of 25%. Either it's actually a legal thing or not, as things did. But the top view, the saucer looks like a saucer. It's more integrated back piece, and they have those light panel pieces and 3 light panels on the bridge module.
Which is interesting.
I mean, you are the Connie master, so how does this compare to the canonical ones, or first look before we do our full review later on?
Well, I gotta say, I like the lighting of the registry. I think that's really cool the way they did it. As for those lights that are 3 that you're talking about, interesting choice. I mean, on the refit, that front light was the spotlights for the registry, which I wasn't sure about when we saw the Enterprise in the show, whether they're doing that, but they're not. So it's just kind of an odd choice. Maybe they're just windows, not necessarily the bridge view screen, but it could be. But I don't know.
It's tricky because the refit has a light rig, and all the future Treks have light rigs of different kinds. Most don't have side lights, but the NX and refit Connie did. But these don't seem to serve a purpose. They're not lighting anything in particular. If they're windows, then boy, there's a lot of light coming out of windows. Like, they're really bright rooms.
Yeah.
And then they're obviously not the bridge, because the bridge doesn't have side windows. That would be silly. So that makes there have to be a walkway around the bridge, which there was never in the show. So
well,
I
think those are probably lower than the bridge because there's 2 rows of windows there, so it's the B C deck. So those could be windows in the C deck, possibly. But yeah.
But then that makes the Connie way bigger, because the Connie, although we now
know the Connie's bigger.
Yeah.
It's upscaled to match Discovery.
Well,
so.
Discovery era. So yeah, they've well, it's weird. The window placement wouldn't seem to suggest that. The window sizings wouldn't seem to allude to that. You know.
I know, which is weird, but we know for a fact that that's the case.
I think they just upscaled it without
so.
linking it together. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at top dome, and what is normally a good indicator is the turbolift shaft, which I believe makes the bridge look quite a lot larger than the TOS Connie. Relative, would you agree? Like a good 10, 15, 20% larger? If that dome actually represents the dome of the bridge.
If it's the full bridge, yeah, then it is. But interestingly enough, then that front light, which a lot of people, and I myself even think is the view screen window, down that low, wouldn't work. And that turbolift shaft might in fact not be a turbolift shaft on this version then. So,
well, I don't know what else it could be. That's where it always is. That's where it always looks like.
I know.
But I mean, I would absolutely all be for it not being a bridge window, but being a conference room or something, and so therefore you still get the sense of scale, you still get the, that'd be an interesting way of fixing it. Have a view screen on the bridge as is canon, and they can't retcon that to be a window, because it wasn't. And yes, it was in film miniature, but that wasn't meant to be a window. It wasn't open, it wasn't whatever, and also they took away the remastered, and it's not ever been shown again, so it's been that's not what it was anyway. But if it was a ring of room around it, which, like you said, there are other windows around the bridge, there has to be now a walkway or rooms around the bridge. So that'd be really cool to see, a conference room. So rather than at the back, because there is no visible back conference room, if the front for some reason, okay, fine, whatever. The zoom in is more just for those sorts of shots, which I'd be totally fine with. So you still get that sense of scale that they want from the bridge, but not actually have it be on the bridge itself. And I guess that's an evolution of design from the flawed Discovery and Shinjo. They're saying, we still want to have a window, let's just put a new room in front of it or behind it. The problem with retconning and forcing stuff in that doesn't make sense. You kind of have to then re-retcon it to double back. Yeah, probably forcing stuff in. But yeah, it's all the bridges just ginormous than they are windows of the bridge.
Yeah, because the ship is upscaled, that whole thing can't be the bridge, in my opinion. It's got to be that top dome, but I don't see that that's what they did there. I don't know.
Well, there must be windows inside the bridge if that whole module is the bridge, and it won't be because of the scale. But
yeah, exactly.
But I mean, yeah.
Well, maybe there is no window on the bridge.
It's just a window of some kind.
Wishful thinking.
And you've obviously got the Excelsior, spiky little back of the bridge, back of the, that's it's a very Excelsior looking thing. It's completely rebalanced it to look like an Excelsior back, just the visual shapes, which I guess I'm fine with. It would tie in.
Good. It looks good.
It does. I would tie into that design evolution, although that's too early for that by about 30 years.
One of the things I really like about this is the self-illumination. Like I said, for the registry, that's a very cool idea. Kind of that stepped thing with the lights. I think that's really neat. I just wish it would have been incorporated in another class of ship other than the Enterprise. But very cool.
It's weird. It's actually less It's both more and less simplistic than the refit, which has a single light, which looks cleaner and smoother and sexier. Yeah. But this is, I guess, cheaper and less advanced because you need to have multiple bulbs rather than one bulb that does it magically, sort of thing, with a cool gradient, Yeah. But that is the same lighting the Shinjo had. It had side lighting, pretty much identical. Yep. And the Beyond Enterprise had multiple lights, on it, or just the JJ. So it's weird to. I do wish that actually had the full refit style side illuminations. That would fit a lot better rather than having like a lot of light in the front bit, and then limited light. It doesn't balance well, I don't think.
I think it does. I think it looks good. I like it like that. Yeah, the way they've done it is good. But as for self-illumination, I was going to talk about the nacelles. I love that the lighting up the register and the nacelles the way they have is beautiful, and you even see the lights shining down on the struts, which again ties into like the refit version. But they didn't have the self-illumination in TOS, which they really should have because it was in the darkness of space.
Well, it's the only ship not to, because that is a budgetary thing. And so I'd been fine to see that. Yeah, that's like an easy, well, they didn't have the budget, so let's improve it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the neck is stouter and thinner, and it really, if you look at the side view, it really integrates almost the shapes like right into the if you skip the saucer, like the rim of the saucer, it almost goes right in and one big flowing shape. It's a very,
Now, the weird thing for this, I'm sure we'll talk about this a little more later in its own video, but the Defiant that went through would have been the same class of ship. And yet the shapes here aren't reminiscent of the wireframe that we saw, because we kind of basically recreated that ship in 3D. That'd make a very interesting video, by the way, to compare this to the wireframe and see how much they're different. But I do like the angled struts on this, but I would have preferred straight. That would have been a simple, easy thing to do that would have made it more visually linked in with the original Enterprise.
And we know that was not a design decision, that was a VFX producer decision after it was finished. They said, oh, no, we want not. So originally they have straight nacelles, and that was a...
Yeah, because when it left the designer's hands, it had straight nacelles, apparently.
Yes.
So...
I mean, it's a ship that's very much like the Enterprise E. Actually, it takes a lot of elements, pulls it down, makes it sleeker, makes it more formed, adds the cut out the back, pylons. It's really a, it pulls elements from the sleekest of the canon,
And it's got a big hangar deck landing pad thing on the back, which I actually like that addition. It's kind of a nice staging area for shuttles.
It feels it doesn't feel form follow function per se. It feels, let's make it bigger because
change
cool
for the sake of change.
Yeah.
That added the 4 or 5% that they needed in the back.
Yeah, I mean, I would totally buy, and I'd kind of like it if, for example, because I liked the Beyond the way the concept version, the way it will integrate. I kind of liked that. If you integrated the sides of the hangar, so it actually went all the way, like the doors would stay still where they were, but the sides kept going. Then you could say, right, now they create a force field bubble around the entire back bit, so now you can have, like I say, a staging area, and it makes sense, rather than, you're landing shuttles but you can't move them because they're in the vacuum of space. Like, I'm sure you'd probably shield bubble anyway, but like it doesn't quite have the form follows function I think it should do. And obviously if the thing's been upscaled, that's now a very large hangar. But at least it's still the proper clamshell. But again, that's the canon that they're sticking to, but not really.
Yeah.
But guys, I am actually eager to end this video so we can do a full comparison with stills, and actually, because now these are proper orthographics, we can actually do much more direct comparison. But yeah, the top view is a good view, and I like their top changes. The color scheme's a bit weird, highlighting some blacks and darker colors, and
it's weird, but it's good. It still looks good.
Yeah.
I love this ship. This would have been a perfect remastered or reimagined reboot ship. So,
yeah, pretty much.
Anyway, guys, so if you enjoyed the video, please click like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the notification icon. And check out the Eaglemoss link below. Even if you click it and just browse through the ships, because there's a lot of ships to look at. Maybe you haven't got them all. Check it out. And you can use the discount code Trekyards to get this discount, which would be fantastic.
Yeah,
the ships are cool. And this one's nuts.
And obviously, you guys have seen me fly them around this show for 3 years now. I mean,
all the time.
It's all it's all the favourites. Varying degrees of quality, but some of them are really like, whoa, that's amazing. And some of the details are just truly. And I love the collection most because you get the ships that have never been made as miniatures before, ever.
Yeah,
that's really cool. And not like cheap, simple replicas. They're like proper, they're all the same quality, and they're real models and all that stuff. So it's really, really awesome to see. Yeah.
So anyway, guys, look for the direct comparison video with the Enterprise, and watch that and check out all of our other content as well. We've got a lot of stuff about Discovery, the new trailer, the uniforms, things like that. Lots to talk about, lots to discuss and theorize.
You guys have asked for it, so we've had to make it.
Exactly. So please check it out.
Yeah.
So until next time, everyone, I'm Captain Foley.
And I'm Commander Holmes.
See ya.
Bye, guys.